Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast where we dive deep into what makes each corner of Sydney so special. I'm your host, Jack, and today we're chatting about some of the neighborhoods in this beautiful city.
And I'm Sam. I've been exploring Sydney neighborhoods for a while, and honestly, I'm still discovering new pockets and hidden gems. Today, we're doing something we've been excited about for weeks. We're taking you on a comprehensive virtual tour of 5 absolutely fantastic neighborhoods to live in Sydney. We'll give you the real insider's perspective, not just the tourist brochure version.
Exactly. So maybe you've landed a great new job. Or perhaps you've just completely fallen for the city's vibe. Or maybe you've been backpacking, made a load of new friends, and decided it's time to find a shared house. Whatever your reason is for putting down roots here, choosing the right neighborhood can make or break your Sydney experience. Before we jump in, let me explain how we've chosen these 5 neighborhoods. We've considered factors like lifestyle diversity, accessibility, community feel, housing options, and overall livability. These aren't necessarily the most expensive or the most trendy, they're the ones we think offer genuine quality of life for different types of people.
Exactly. Even though I've had many highlights traveling Australia, I do believe Sydney is my favorite place and where I spent most of my time.
Today we're covering 5 neighborhoods that each offer something completely different. Glebe, Paddington, Bondi, Kirribilli, and Coogee. We'll talk lifestyle, housing, what you can expect to pay, and what makes each area tick.
Perfect. So let's start with Glebe, and this is one of my personal favorites. Glebe is like Sydney's bohemian heartland. It's got this incredible artsy alternative vibe that you just don't find everywhere.
Yeah, totally. It's about 3 kilometers southwest of the CBD, and it's got this amazing mix of students, artists, young professionals, and longtime locals who've been there for decades.
The cafe culture there is just incredible. You've got all these little independent coffee shops scattered throughout. Broadway Shopping Center is right there too if you need your major retail fix. But what I really love about Glebe is how walkable it is. You can easily spend an entire Saturday just wandering from the markets to the cafes to the vintage shops along Glebe Point Road, maybe end up at Jubilee Park by the water.
And let's talk about the Saturday markets at Glebe Primary School. That's where you really see the community spirit.
Oh my God, yes. Fresh produce, vintage clothes, handmade jewelry, live music. It's like a weekly festival. For housing, you're looking at a really diverse mix. Everything from converted warehouses to Victorian terraces to modern apartments. Rent for a one-bedroom is probably around 600 to 750 a week. Maybe you can find one cheaper if you get lucky.
That's pretty accurate, and the location's fantastic for getting around. You've got light rail that connects you to Central Station and then out to Dulwich Hill, plus heaps of bus routes. The University of Sydney is practically next door, which explains the student population.
Right. And that university proximity keeps the area vibrant, but also keeps rents from going completely crazy like some other inner city areas. All right, let's move on to Paddington, which is basically the complete opposite vibe from Glebe.
Yeah, if Glebe is bohemian, Paddington is sophisticated elegance. This is where you go if you want to live among some of the most beautiful Victorian terrace houses in the world.
Exactly. Those wrought iron balconies, the sandstone facades, the tree lined streets. It's like living in a postcard. Oxford Street runs right through it, and that's where you get your shopping and dining. We're talking high end boutiques, art galleries, some really exceptional restaurants. And the history here is fascinating. A lot of these terraces were built in the 1880s and 90s, originally as working class housing, but they've been beautifully restored over the decades. The architectural details are just stunning if you take the time to really look.
Well, Saturday markets at Paddington Uniting Church are legendary too. It's more upscale than Glebe markets, designer fashion, artisan foods, unique homewares, and your walking distance to Centennial Park, which is just
Amazing for morning runs, weekend picnics, or just getting some green space. But let's be real about the cost. This is premium Sydney living. You're looking at maybe 650 to 800 for a one bedroom and easily 900 to 1200 plus for a two bedroom. And if you want one of those gorgeous terraces, you're talking serious money.
Worth mentioning, though, the investment potential is incredible, and the lifestyle is pretty unbeatable if you can afford it. You've got Museum Station right there, quick access to the city, and you're surrounded by culture and history.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about probably Sydney's most famous neighborhood, Bondi. And look, everyone knows Bondi Beach, but there's so much more to living there than just the sand and surf.
Yeah, it's interesting because Bondi gets this reputation as just a tourist trap, but there's actually a really strong local community there. You've got third generation families living alongside young professionals and international transplants.
Right. And the lifestyle is just, if you're into fitness, wellness, beach culture, it's hard to beat. Morning swims, afternoon surf sessions, beach volleyball, the coastal walk to Coogee. There's also this really strong wellness and health food scene: juice bars, yoga studios, organic markets. The Bondi Farmers Market on Saturday mornings is fantastic for local produce and artisanal goods.
That coastal walk is absolutely spectacular. 6 kilometers of clifftop views, and you end up in Coogee, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Bondi itself has really evolved. Hall Street and the surrounding areas have some fantastic cafes and restaurants now, not just the touristy beachfront stuff.
True, and Westfield Bondi Junction is right there, one of Sydney's biggest shopping centers. But here's the thing about Bondi: it's expensive and it can feel really crowded, especially in summer. Housing is mostly apartments, and you're looking at probably 600 to 800 for a one bedroom, 800 to 1200 for a two bedroom, more if you want those beach views.
And parking can be an absolute nightmare. Public transit isn't bad though. You've got the bus routes that connect to Bondi Junction Station, and from there you're connected to the whole rail network.
Exactly. So if you're someone who thrives on energy, doesn't mind crowds, and wants that iconic Sydney beach lifestyle, Bondi could be perfect. But if you want something a bit quieter while still being near the water, let's talk about Kirribilli.
Kirribilli is just gorgeous. It's on the North Shore, just across the harbor from the city, and the views are absolutely incredible. You're talking about looking out at the Opera House and Harbor Bridge from your backyard.
Those views come at a price, though. This is seriously premium real estate, but it's also got this lovely village feel despite being so close to the city. Kirribilli markets on the fourth Saturday of each month are really special, right by the harbor with those stunning views.
And the ferry commute is just magical. Imagine starting your day with a ferry ride across Sydney Harbor. It never gets old. Milson's Point Station is right there too if you prefer the train. The area is quite residential, lots of apartments and some heritage homes, very quiet compared to the southern beaches. What's really special about Kirribilli is the community. It's small enough that you get to know your neighbors. There's a real village atmosphere. The local cafes along Fitzroy Street have that neighborhood feel where the barista knows your order.
It's definitely more family oriented and peaceful. You've got Luna Park right there, which is fun, and Bradfield Park is perfect for picnics with probably the best harbor views in Sydney. For housing costs, we're talking similar to Paddington: 700 to 900 for a one bedroom and easily over 1,000 for a two bedroom, especially with harbor views.
But if you can swing it, the lifestyle is incredible. You're close to the city, but feel like you're in a peaceful harborside village. And finally, let's talk about Coogee, which I think is really underrated compared to its famous neighbor Bondi.
I love Coogee. It has that beachside lifestyle, but it's much more relaxed and family friendly than Bondi. The beach is beautiful, less crowded, and you've got rock pools that are perfect for kids. Coogee Bay Road has developed into this really nice restaurant and cafe strip. What really sets Coogee apart is the sense of community. There are local events like the Coogee Arts Festival, beach cleanup days, and the vibe is much more locals looking out for each other rather than the transient feel you sometimes get in more touristy areas.
And the ocean pools at Coogee are fantastic. Wiley's Baths and McIver's Ladies Baths. Plus, you've got that coastal walk connection to Bondi if you want the best of both worlds. The community feeling in Coogee is really strong too.
Absolutely. And it's slightly more affordable than Bondi, maybe 550 to 750 for a one bedroom, 750 to 1,000 for a two bedroom. You get more bang for your buck, and honestly, I think the beach is just as beautiful, but way more livable day to day.
The bus connections to the city are really good too, and you're not dealing with the same level of tourist crowds. It's got that classic Australian beach suburb feel, relaxed, friendly, with a good mix of families, young professionals, and retirees.
Perfect. So there you have it. 5 completely different Cindy neighborhoods, each with their own distinct personality and appeal. Whether you want bohemian Glebe, elegant Paddington, energetic Bondi, sophisticated Kirribilli, or a relaxed Coogee, there's truly something for everyone. The key is being honest about what matters most to you: budget, lifestyle, commute, community feel, and long term goals.
Now, if you're trying to decide between these neighborhoods, here are some practical questions to ask yourself. First, what's your budget realistically? Second, how important is proximity to the city versus proximity to the beach? Third, are you looking for nightlife and energy or peace?
Peace and quiet.
That's absolutely right. And remember, these are just starting points. Each of these areas has sub-pockets and micro-neighborhoods that could be perfect for your specific needs. We've covered the highlights, but there's so much more to discover in each area. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you spending your time with us.
Exactly. And I'd add, think about your lifestyle priorities. If you love culture and arts, Glebe or Paddington might be perfect. If you're a fitness enthusiast who wants to swim every morning, Bondi or Coogee could be ideal. If you value luxury and harbor views and can afford it, Kirribilli is hard to beat. And remember, you can always visit these areas before committing. Spend a weekend in each, try the cafes, walk the streets, get a feel for the rhythm of the place. If this was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us keep making these deep dive episodes about Sydney's amazing neighborhoods.
One thing we haven't mentioned much but is really important, think about your daily routines. Where do you work? Where do your friends live? If you're commuting to the CBD every day, somewhere with good transport links like Glebe or Kirribilli makes sense. If your social life revolves around the eastern beaches, don't underestimate how much easier life is when you're already in that area rather than traveling there constantly.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Maybe you like the idea of living in one of the locations we have mentioned, or maybe it's somewhere else that has caught your eye. Somewhere like Surrey Hills, Newtown, or Manly.
And we'd love to know, which of these neighborhoods sounds most appealing to you? Drop us a comment and let us know. We'll be back next week with another episode. Please like and subscribe for more content.